24th, 2022. Hello, Internet peoples. Just a kind of a lazy slacker update here. I don't know why it is when people say, yeah, the sprinklers are going to come on Tuesday night. I assume it means Tuesday night, not Tuesday morning. So last night, sometime between 2 and 3, the sprinklers came on out here. There's at least 3 or 4 zones. And the way I had some of the bags arranged, I was right on top of the sprinkler heads, which kept a lot of it from spraying out. So I was able to pull some of the stuff off and then pull the bags up, and then the water went everywhere. The good thing is the sprinklers are very well calibrated or whatnot, so they all sprayed that way. So anything that was on this side of the brick line was fine. So no problem there. I was fine. But knowing I could hear the sprinklers going, I'm like, move the bed first, move everything that I had closer to the van, and then the bike was already on the pavers on this side. So then it was just a matter of trying to hop the trailer over the brick line without bouncing it too much, because I had stuff laying all over the trailer. Yeah. But after the last time I got hit by sprinklers, when I heard the sound, I'm like, I wake up immediately, sprinklers. And having just been told that there were sprinklers and having seen the sprinklers, I was like, jump into action, go. Oh, what an idiot. They only come on once a week, so that's the last time that's going to be a problem, but it just completely missed the point of what time or what night they were going to come on. Yeah. Okay, so I shot several updates earlier today, which I deleted, so I don't really remember what I've told you when, so I'm going to just kind of do a recap of the last day and a half or so. Yesterday morning, I did breakfast over at IHOP, International House of Pancakes. Fantastic. It was really good. They had a really good big steak omelet, which had lots of nice meat in it, which was good. And then the side of pancakes, they make pancakes. It's an option with protein powder, and they also had strawberries and bananas in them. And it was just, oh my God. And then a big old blob of whipped cream. So that was wonderful. From there, I went to the auto parts store. I had ordered 2 USB chargers. Oh, now I can't see it. And they didn't come in like they were supposed to. So I cruised over there and found something they had in stock. And so what I did is I've got a 2-in-1 cigarette lighter adapter, which then that goes out to this guy, which I just left loose for now. This one on this side is the one that normally is on the handlebars. That's the one that puts out the most power. These 3 ports work, but they're not really fast charging. So they're kind of slow, but what I'm thinking, the GoPro camera, which I'll talk about in a minute, could run off of that, or I could charge it overnight, or I could leave a battery bank plugged in here just to charge up when it gets there, kind of thing. Not in a hurry, but it'll just kind of keep it going. But the reasoning for that, like if we look at how we're set up right now, quite often the bed is next to the trailer and the bike could be further up. This would give me some shelter from a side wind. So if I figure out which way the wind is blowing, I could drop my bed next to the trailer and get some shelter. With the USB charger there, and by leaving the cable unsecured, I could pull it out and then run. I've got this other cable actually on the phone right now from a battery bank in my pocket. I could charge while I'm editing, for instance, which is probably what I'll do when I get done shooting this. So that's that. And then, dramatic pause, well, I think even where I put it. I'm such a mess. Anyway, so I also bought a GoPro. I just figured out where that white paint keeps coming from. I keep bumping into this pole. That's exactly where I keep trying to be. Yeah. Wait, is it down here? There it is. I got it plugged into the charger already. So there's my Hero 8 Black GoPro. There's a nice color screen on the back. I bought 2 memory cards, only the 1 battery that it came with, and then a bunch of accessories most of which I don't like, but a couple I might like. So I went through this whole saga of, hang on, let's get the flip around here. Okay, we'll make faces while we're doing this. So the whole process of the GoPro is very, it assumes you're going to use the app that it comes with, or that you download. Oh, that's terrible lighting. Where's the sun? Let's see if this works any better. Oh, that's dramatic. It's very bright. Nah, it's no good. We're not going to do that. Anyway, so the GoPro is really app-centric, I think is a good way to say it. And I don't like the app. I've never really liked the GoPro app. It's just a workflow that doesn't match what I'm used to doing. Okay. I've got several GoPros at home, and I didn't bring any of them because I was trying to cut down on the load. So now for the actual sun trip, I thought, you know what, I really would like a GoPro just for the fact that I can use the phone just for navigating and have a GoPro somewhere. So like for instance, if I can get this shot, yeah, right there I've got a mount which is next to the phone on the handlebars, so it'll go out the front. Okay, so I could be going up and down hills and get some shots just by reaching over and hitting record. I can't get that shot as easy with the phone the way I've got the phone mounted. Okay. So I messed around with the GoPro a lot yesterday, and also I wasted a lot of today trying to make friends with the app. And I just don't like it. I'm sure a billion people like it, so that's fine. Mostly I don't. So I did really try, and it's a really weird workflow if you're trying not to use the app. So first you download the footage from the camera, from the GoPro to the app, and then you export it from the app into the phone's file structure. And then you see if that file will work with your editor, because I've already got an editor that I like. The other option is I could use the GoPro app to edit the files that the phone creates. And it's like, well, I've already, figured out the way I'm doing things, and I didn't want to redo it all. And I've never liked the way that the GoPro app worked. So, but I figured, okay, it's been a few years since I've messed with it. Let me try it. Didn't like it. Okay, so I uninstalled it. One of the biggest problems, though, is it didn't seem to be consistent where it was putting the files. One time it would put it in this folder that I could find. The next one I downloaded, it put it somewhere because the phone ran out of room, but I couldn't find the file. The only way I could really get things working is I uninstalled the app, and then all of a sudden I had a bunch of room again. So at least it was smart enough the app knew where it put the file and it deleted it for me. Okay, but in the process then I didn't have the file on the phone or on the camera anymore, so I lost it. Okay, so the way I'm going to be doing it is more the way I've always done things. Get done shooting for the day, for instance, pop the memory card out of the GoPro, put it in a card reader that I bought, and then I've got an OTG adapter for the phone that lets me read a card reader into the phone. Okay, so it's one more moving part physically, but it's faster than messing with the software. Okay. The other thing that I realized when I tried the GoPro before, the GoPro's files didn't seem to work with the video editing software. Now it seems like they do work. So I'm not sure if I changed something, or if the new GoPro is a slightly different file format, or very likely the video editor has gone through constant upgrades. Every time I have internet, it seems like it loads some new features. So maybe they have improved to the point that it works, because it didn't work before. That's one of the reasons that I didn't bring the GoPro in the first place, is it wasn't working with the phone. What I hope to do next year on the trip, either use a Raspberry Pi, possibly a Raspberry Pi 4 if they're available then. They've been really short on supply. So Raspberry Pi is a little single board computer that can run really nicely off a DC. I could wire it up. I had a lot of it figured out, but the combined everything was just a little bit too big for what I was trying to do. So what I was going to have was the Raspberry Pi in a hard case with a 10-inch monitor that would then plug into the battery system that I've already got, and then I could have a keyboard and a mouse and a hard drive and use that for editing, and use it with desktop editing software instead of phone editing software, which I really liked the workflow better, but the whole thing was just clunky in that it was big. What I'm doing now, which actually is kind of working, I shoot on the phone, I edit on the phone, I upload to the internet from the phone. I can then back it up from the phone to a USB drive, and then I delete the source files. So it's all in the phone. So that's about as small as it can get. Okay. So it's basically been working. I've been using that the whole trip. So it's just, some days it would be nice if I had an opportunity to sit down. I brought a keyboard. I could pull the keyboard out, and keyboard shortcuts are way faster than taking your finger and trying to go on the screen. So it's just kind of one of those things. If you know of a better way, it's hard going backwards. If you've never done it any other way, it's pretty cool that you can do it on the phone now. So there we are. So as far as the GoPro, I really like the image quality of the GoPro. I think there's a lot of good things still about the GoPro, just not the way that its software app worked with my workflow. So I basically put the GoPro back into stupid mode, but it works a whole lot better for me. What I was doing at first is I could have the phone connected to the GoPro via Wi-Fi, and I could then have the phone in my hand, the GoPro could be mounted somewhere, and I could see through the phone what the camera was seeing, which was pretty cool. But every time you went to start it, there was a good 45-second delay while they synchronized, and then you had to go through the splash screen that was trying to get you to buy some other stuff or to load another program. I was like, no, I just want to go straight to shooting, right? So by getting the phone out of the way and going into the settings, now I can sit there, hit the red button on the GoPro, it wakes up and immediately starts shooting within a few seconds. So much better. All right. Yeah, so that's that, and it's what I'm thinking now is I'm going to probably, for now, I'm going to keep doing most of the video on the phone like I am right now. This is on the phone, and then I'll use the GoPro just for action shots when I'm riding where I can't easily grab the phone, and we'll just kind of go like that. Yeah. I've got a few really cool adapters at home that I don't have access to. So it's a little bit annoying because I didn't bring all that other stuff. A way that I could mount the GoPro easily to some surfaces. I just don't have that. So I bought some things, and we'll get to play with them a little bit. I really wanted to go out and do some riding today, but I wasted so much time figuring out the software. And it was kind of a thing where I'm like, okay, I've got downtime now. Let's spend the time, get all of that figured out so that then I can focus on the ride when I'm on the sun trip, and not be trying to figure out, I'll be sitting there trying to get the shot when I should be on the road moving, because when I hit the road on that trip, I need to do about 100-mile days, and that means, a lot of times when before I would stop at the side of the road, pull out the phone and get this really nice shot, that gave me a chance to rest. Well, I don't really have time for that anymore. So I got to streamline my day and not spend as much time stopping. I mean, every time you stop for a quick shot, you could have gone a mile. It's about as easy as that. So, and then getting back on and merging with traffic, where if you're just moving, even if you're not going very fast, moving is always better than sitting still. So that's kind of where that's at. So yeah, in the end, it was like I spent a lot of time being frustrated. I was looking at the GoPro, I was like, did I just really screw up by buying that? Because it was really making me mad and it wasn't really working. And I was like, well, that was potentially food money. Should I have bought that? And it's like I got half of the internet is like telling me to go buy a GoPro. A few people sent me GoPros in the past, and they're all sitting at home, and it was the same thing. I just never really liked the workflow. If it would just work like it's supposed to, I mean, it would be really neat if I could just sit there, leave the GoPro where it's at, hit the connect button, the phone would connect to the GoPro, or download the files, and I could drop them into my editor of choice. That would be really slick. The problem is it doesn't do that. It drops it somewhere else. So you spend a lot of time working through their system trying to get the files out. So at that point, you might as well just take the memory card out and do it the wrong way, and get it done. So, yeah. The other part of the equation is, instead of using the phone, if I could just use one of my cameras that I left at home, would be a whole lot better in a lot of ways, because then I could use a wireless mic, I could have a wind muff, I would actually be able to control the camera the way I would like to, all of these things that have annoyed me for every day of this trip, right? So that's that. So let's see, yesterday was IHOP for breakfast, getting the USB charger working, which it's working, but it's not as fast as it should be, but at least it's working. The stuff I left several good chargers at home that would have been better. But again, I didn't bring as many spare parts with me as I should have. We thought there was going to be some parts delivered today from Amazon. They apparently didn't get delivered today, so that was like, I wasn't really waiting for them, but if I would have been here when they got here, at least I could have made sure they were here. But not a big deal. Went for a walk today. I saw there was my phone was dead, so I was leaving it here on the charger, so I went for a walk to where I thought the 7-Eleven was to go buy a Coke just to give me something to do, and missed it by 4 blocks because I completely forgot where it was at. But I did find the market, so then I got a bag of chips and a 2-liter of Coke. So I was like, okay, that was a good adventure. And then on the way back, I saw where the 7-Eleven was. I'm like, oh, yeah, I went too far. Yeah, it's kind of fun walking around the neighborhood. So I tomorrow, the plan is to take the GoPro and the phone and actually go do a ride, because I want to show some of the stuff that's around here. Like the bike lanes in this area are really cool. They've put a lot of work into trying to keep bikes and cars separated, and there's some of the roads that have a dedicated lane that has a barrier between the cars and the bicycles, at least until you get to the intersection, and then you kind of merge again, but you're completely separate. So that's pretty cool. They got big bright lines, green lanes painted for the bicycles, so you definitely know it's your lane and nobody else is supposed to be in it. So that's kind of nice. They're trying. Some of the houses around here, like Alan's house here, it's about 100 years old, right? Super cool character. It's kind of a neat neighborhood, and we got, on this side we got the fig tree. This is Grapevine, olive tree over there. It's got good character, and after living in the desert where, I got cactuses and rattlesnakes and jackrabbits, it's nice just to chill out for a while and kind of unwind. The good thing about sitting still, my shoulder feels a whole lot better the last few days, so that's good. I've been riding with my backpack on my shoulders, and I usually threw too much heavy stuff in there, and so for whatever reason, this shoulder really bothers me, and this one is completely fine. And I'm like, I don't think the backpack is that crooked, but maybe it is. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. But at least now I'm feeling better. So that's, so when we get on the road again, on the sun trip, I'm not going to have the heavy backpack on my shoulder because I don't need to. Part of it is I didn't have room on the trailer for the last little bit of stuff. So I've gone through all my stuff and I've cut tools in half, and I still feel like we've got enough. The spare wheels we're going to throw in a van that's going to be going with us. So I'm still going to have what I need to get through, but I also am bringing spare tools that I can share and spare parts. If somebody has a flat tire, we can maybe just swap a wheel out and get them going again, and then they can fix it that night, that kind of thing. So it's going to make things a little bit easier. Now that I know what night the sprinkler was, this is one of this one that I'm like, okay, something I've been considering for a while. This week or this year is the test for the next year. Okay, could I survive without the Army cot, which is heavy? Okay, so I've got, let's see, yeah, over there the blue roll is a sleeping pad, mattress pad, or just a foam piece for sleeping on. at least for the week of the sun trip, all of the campsites are going to have some kind of grass. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I think tonight I'm going to take the sleeping bag. I've got a piece of plastic I can put, so I'll put the plastic on the grass, put the mat down, and then put the sleeping bag on top of the mat and just sleep like that and see if I can get used to it. If so, then I'll leave the army cot here and just go without that, because every pound I don't have to take on the next 500 miles, it's going to make it just a little bit easier in the hills. Okay. And then I'll kind of evaluate that. I think for a lot of the camping I do, the army cot was worth it for the first half of the trip. And I think a lot of the trip is going to be more truck stops and gravel piles and stuff like that, not real campsites. So I'll probably take the army cot after sun trip, but if I can live without it for a few days, that'll make it a whole lot easier. And then looking forward, kind of a little bit of experimenting still. If I could hang, for instance, I've got the poncho, military poncho that you could wear. You can use that for emergency shelter. So if I could Velcro that to the side of the trailer and then sleep next to the trailer and pull the poncho over me, that would give me some shelter. Okay. So depending on what if the night looks really clear and it's not going to be cold, I won't bother. If it might rain, I can pull the poncho out and get down underneath it like a lean-to. The solar panels themselves will shed water. Okay. And a lot of people have pointed this out, and it's something I have considered. The solar panels themselves would make a nice roof over where I'm sleeping. It doesn't really work with the trailer setup I have now, but if I redesigned the trailer, I could literally sleep under the solar panels on the trailer up off the ground, and it would probably work out pretty good. So if I just made a trailer that I could sleep on, could be essentially a hammock bottom like the army cot, and then that's the frame of the trailer. Okay, so that's something I am looking at. It's, a lot of people have had the same idea, so it's a possibility, and I didn't really pursue it in the first place because it wouldn't have worked with the one-wheel trailer, and I only had one solar panel, so that it was, it didn't work then, but now it could work for next time. So if I build a new trailer based on what I learned from this trailer, give it bigger wheels so it rolls easier, it would be a huge advantage. And yeah, so that's a possibility. What I've learned in the meantime, I could make things a lot simpler. Maybe something like a coroplast roof so that it's a full layer, so it is waterproof, and then just Velcro or zip tie or something to hold the panels on in place, and we're set. Yeah. And maybe a side wing that would just fold up. That would be what I sleep under, or tent poles that could deploy out the side, as long as it's not going to catch the wind. That's the biggest thing, is everything I do has to survive the wind, because there has been a lot of nights that the wind was just blowing like crazy. All right. The other one I have experimented with in the past, there's holes, let's see. Anyway, there is holes in the ends of the bed frame itself. I could make a hoop of plastic and pull the poncho over that and make basically the cover part of the bed frame. So you set up the bed frame, think of it like a covered wagon cover, basically. It would work also pretty well. And I had built a tent based on that same idea quite a while ago that worked really good, but it was overall pretty heavy. So all kinds of ideas for next year. But if I can experiment a little bit with some of these on a 1 or 2 night basis and see if the basic idea works, that's kind of the direction I'm going. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, it's today's the 24th. It's after 6 o'clock already. Today was about 90 degrees, but most of it I hung out back here in the shade, and it really wasn't that hot. So it's nice having some shade and also all the protection from the breeze and stuff. So not a horrible way to spend the time. Getting a little bit stir crazy, but that's either I'm out moving all the time, or it's like take advantage of sitting still, because then you you can rest and recover and, you know, take advantage of that. So it also gives me time to think, and just slowing down is sometimes a good idea. So probably will go out and do some kind of a ride tomorrow. I'd like to go 3 or 4 hours, and I'm not gonna, this is the one other thing, is since I've been here I haven't taken the trailer out, and man, is it nice just riding a bike again. So I don't have the electric, you know, so it's just a matter of pedaling, but that's kind of a good thing too, to get, you know, build up a little bit of endurance without the trailer. So give my legs a chance to work for a change, which, you know, they always do. But it sure is nice if you're out in traffic, if you can just pedal and not worry about, you know, 6 feet of trailer hanging out behind you. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's kind of updates for now. In the description of the video, which I know nobody looks at, but down below the video, if you click on one of the arrows, there's a video description that has lots of links. And I'm going to start adding hashtags to the video description and also to the title for the sun trip and solar bikes, and also the 22 veterans hashtag. So hopefully people will start seeing that, and a lot, I mean, I'm talking about it, but if I don't put it in the title or the hashtags, it's not getting picked up on the search engine. So if you start seeing that, that's where that's coming from. And as always, thanks for all the support. Welcome to all the new subscribers and the new viewers. And also, hey, to all the people that I've met on the trip already. Let's see, I was going to say Alex. She'll think that's funny. Alice, hey, it was good seeing your comment. One of the riders I ran into at Big Sur. Yeah, she's pretty cool. She was over from England, flew into Calgary, and is on her way south, and she's going to Cancun. Just a single girl on her own riding the bike. And it's like, how cool is that? I've gone through Mexico on a bus, and that was a good experience. I don't know if I would be ready to ride on a bike or not, but hey, she's crazy enough, she'll probably pull it off and make it look easy. So good on you, right? Yeah, anyway, as always, thanks for all the support, and see you on the next video. Bye for now.